Hey everybody, so I ordered this Dillon Precision RL-550C back in the summer, and I'm finally going to get around to opening it. This one's supposed to be for 45 ACP. So, it's easy to assemble your new RL-550B reloader. 550C manual. Screw floating around. My invoice, which I won't disclose. I don't know how well I made off on this, but I did buy it from Titan Reloading, and they're pretty good. So there's the 45 ACP conversion kit. I don't know what all the options were that I got. I think this some sort of a alarm device. Of course. 552 pack, and I'm guessing that's for the primers. We shall find out. There's what comes in the kit for the 45 ACP. This has to do with the powder tube, I believe. A couple pins for something. I've never had a Dillon before, so bear with me. There's that screw that was floating around. I've got several Lee presses. Hopefully there's not supposed to be anything in that spot. The press. Looks like I'll have to drill a new hole in the bench. So that's the brass. That down. That is one heck of a hopper for powder. And accessory box. Tray. Powder bar spacer, a small powder bar, a large powder bar, primer cup, powder primer slider assembly, large and small, dot die lock rings. Your 550B comes with a small primer slide installed and the small powder bar in place. 3 die lock rings are used with other manufacturers' dies. Okay, they're like little nuts, I guess. I don't know if you can see them there. Oh, hex nuts. I'll be using other dies. I'll be using Lee dies in this because this all stuff I have right now is Lee. So I'll put that on the bench. And this looks like some maybe the shells run down once they're finished. I'm not sure what that's for. So, yes, before I go any further, I shall see if there was supposed to be anything in this spot. Maybe that depends. It looks like they're from the picture. It looks like I've received everything, but maybe that's where these extra trays might go if you buy the complete kit. Or the holder or whatever. We'll see. I shall start to put it together, so I'm going to stop and just sort of look at this and see if I can figure out how all this goes together. And then we'll start again. Okay, everybody. I've mounted the press to my bench. There's a 1/4 inch hole at the back that just matches up with my Lee one, so I'm going to use that. And I may or may not drill the other sides. Sometimes I just put a C-clamp on them if I need the extra stability. So I'll put that on there probably. I don't know if I'll get enough strength, and I don't want to put a million holes on my bench. So next is putting the handle on. You drop the washer on the top, handle through, and then the nylock nut. And I guess I'll open these up. It says to put an Allen key through there to help tighten it, or use a screwdriver or something. That's too big. There you go. It says 5/32, that's 5/32. So you just hold that, and you can turn that around and tighten it. With the 7/8 wrench if you have it, or I'm just using adjustable. Put it on here. There we go. Tight enough. Seven, place a spent primer cup onto the wedge-shaped mounting piece. So that's the spent primer cup, and that fits on there. Cool. And the right arm link. So, right arm link. Next, now is the time to determine whether you must change your primer system before proceeding. The 550B comes ready to dispense and seat small primers. If you're loading a caliper that requires large primers, skip forward to photo 45. The instructions on changing over to large primers. So, 45. Which just happens to be the caliber I'm shooting. Now I'm going to be using large primers. You need to change the primer system. To change the primer system, you must first remove the operating rod by raising the platform slightly and pulling back. So, guess that's that. Pulling back on the primer slide. Pulling the operating rod out of the operating rod bracket and set it aside. Real good instructions. So, there's your Allen key. Wow, might have to YouTube how to put it together. There's there is a little spot here. The operating rod. So, what do they call that? 20263. Primer feed body with shield. Well, that's not the operating rod. What is the operating rod? $13,869. Okay. So I'm talking about this piece here, which isn't even on the press, as far as I can tell. Yeah, okay, that's the piece they're pulling off. First move the operating rod bars and pulling back on the primer slide. Well, that's not even in yet. The operating rod is right here. Okay, so unhook the primer slide return spring from the primer slide and let it hang in place. The primer slide. So I'm guessing this piece here is the primer slide. Yeah. So 14,281. Primer slide assembly, large and small. So pull that out. Pull up the operating rod. Put the primer slide, then pull the operating rod out, which isn't in already. Unhook the primer slide return spring from the primer slide and let it hang in place. So there. There. That hangs in place. Remove the two primer housing screws. Two primer housing screws. Okay, to shorten this video a bit, I'm going to stop this a bit until I look at this and see exactly what they're talking about. Okay, so I do see in the picture where they're putting the Allen key now, and the two screws are underneath here. So using the 5/32 Allen key, going to loosen that. And loosen the other one off too. Take the tray back off for a second. Okay. Remove the 2 primer housing screws. I'm guessing this is the housing. Raise the platform slightly by the operating handle. It is already raised. Lift on, lift the primer housing away from the machine and set aside for the moment. Okay. Next. Operating handle in the down position. Note the position of the primer slide. It's all the way in. Remove it. The track bearing. I guess that's this piece. So yellow arrow is pointing to this. So retrieve the large primer slide assembly. Position it by placing the punch primer seating cup assembly into the hole at station 1 underneath the platform. Slowly lower it down. So basically you're going to put the primer cup that's on that primer bar into the little hole that's here. So there's the little springy thing that the primers fall out of, so just push up on that a bit until it comes up through this hole, and then lower the whole assembly back down. So once that's done, slowly lower the platform, allow the primer slide to rest in its proper position as shown in photo 56. So it's lying in its proper position on the press here. Before reinstalling the primer housing, you must change from the small to the large primer magazine tube assembly. Unscrew the knurled primer shield cap. I'm guessing this is what they're talking about. Remove the small one. Place with the large tube. Guess I gotta guess which one is which. So I guess this is the large tube. You can see the red one's got a larger diameter hole in it for the primers to fall in. And it says to drop it in there and find the key slot, because that's got a bit of a slot on it. I'm going to put it down in here. There, dropped in. Oh, look at that. So if you turn it around, you can see where it hangs down in there. So turn it around until you feel it drop, and then you'll see it appear. Okay. So we'll replace this. Finger tight. Place it into its proper position, which was this way. And the screws are going to come up there, so that's going to line up with these two screws there. Okay. Grab my two screws back. Tighten these, but don't over tighten. Okay. Replace the operating rod into position on the operating rod bracket and between the two white rollers. Well, that was never in. So maybe we'll have to jump back to where we met from. Put that back on. It looks like this is going to go. The bend is that way. It's got to go in this hole at the back. And my guess is it's got to be on the side of the wheel. And then we'll probably have to bring that spring back up. And I'll get on to the bottom of that. Like so. And that's basically how it shows it in the last photo there. Okay. So, pop back here. to number 9, where it says to put the operating rod into the hole that we just did. Pull the operating handle partway down, pull the primary line the rod so it runs in between the small white roller, the bracket, and the large white roller, which we already did. Step 11. Step 12. Place the index ball spring. And that's in here. Great. Oh, we can find what fell. Amongst the million jars I have down here. Oop. I think that's it right there. Okay, so place the index ball spring into the hole in the left center of the platform. And that's what they're showing. Right there. Place the index ball, which is a piece that just fell on the floor, in there too. Then place the shell plate in. So I'm guessing this is what they call the shell plate, and they have it looking like that. Caliber compared. Oh, this is a shell plate, yes. Makes more sense. So there's a shell plate, and there's a number that comes out of your conversion box. So place the ball into the same hole, then place the shell plate from the conversion box number side up onto the platform so it aligns with the center hole. Now you can place the index sprocket onto the shell plate, and you can see that it's got 4 little pieces to line up with the shell plate. Look at that. Shell plate bolt. So, shell plates bolt through this. Use a supplied 1/4 inch hex wrench to tighten the shell plate bolt, just enough to hold the shell plate snugly in place. So that just touched there. I'm just going to give it another little bit. Maybe that was too tight. There. Way that's supposed to turn, but anyways. allows it to turn. I'll just leave it like that. If it loosens up, I can tighten it just a bit more later. It should allow it to turn freely with only thumb pressure on the index sprocket. This other little pieces that's hanging on here, but put that back. Okay. The left side main shaft just before the platform is a thread hole for a brass tip set screw. So we're going to put that in. Keeps the shell plate bolt from tightening when you're advancing the shell plate with the index sprocket inserted. Turn and tighten it securely with 1/8. Okay. You will now place the 3 brass locator buttons into the remaining holes in the platform. There. Okay. Rubber band intended to keep the tooth in. Remove. This. So I'm going to remove the powder dye. Okay. Next, we're going to insert this piece. Make sure that moves up and down freely, which it does. Line station 2. That's where you have to guess, I guess, because it doesn't say what the station number there. From the photo, this is station 2. Go down about halfway. About halfway. That looks similar to the photo. You may now replace the powder measure on to the powder dye in station 2. So we put this back on. You may now replace the powder measure onto the powder dye in station 2. Okay, we did that. Snug the collar. Now we have to find the fail-safe rod. Which I guess is this one. And it's going to go through like that. Place the right bushing into the notch. Powder measure and fail-safe rod are properly positioned. The rod should hang in close proximity to the return bracket, which will be installed. Place the way bushing into the notch on the return bracket and press it in places shown in photos 36 and 37. That's what we've done. Properly installed, the fail-safe rod should look like it's pictured in 38, which it does. Yes. Okay, 39, another picture. Oh, step 40. So, now we're going to put the battery in. Okay. It is tight. Now shut up. That should come down flush. Okay, there not quite flush, but it comes up and you'll see where the curvature is there. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe didn't even see any of that when I put it on. Let's crank this up just a bit. So what I've done here is put the powder alarm on and I push it down here onto this silver part of the top of the primer tube, and then it comes down almost flush to the top of the blue thing, but you'll see how it's like a little dish. Just comes to the top, to the bottom of that little tapered piece on the plastic. So that is it. This whole press is ready to go. Show adjustments for the powder. So the powder alarm, I guess you put that down in through there, or whatever that piece is that fits in there. In this big plastic case like that, it shouldn't be too hard to see. So the instructions inside that are just how to put it on, which are already in the other one. So do not put primers in until after you've read the manual. Placement of the primer follow rod can wait until the tube is filled with primers. Now that your machine is on the bench and fully assembled, you can maybe refer to page 10 of the instruction manual to set up your tool head for reloading. And so figure out how to do the adjustments on the bar. The rest of the instructions talk about the strong arm mount. And then it goes into the changing the primer system, which we already did. So next is to pull my dies in, which are the next step. I guess I'll stop this video here and I'll continue on afterwards as to how the rest of it goes. I don't know what this little paper clip thing here is. I don't know if you can see that. On this side of the press there's a like a little paper clip that actually goes all the way in there. So I'll have to look in the manual to see exactly what that is, but I pulled it out so that it wouldn't jam up. The cycle. Of course, that has to be manually cycled. It's not like the Lee press where it's automatically cycling it through for you, which is okay. That's one of the problems I find with the Lee one, is it never wants to cycle through when you're doing stuff. It likes to jam up. So this one here you have to manually go stage to stage with your brass, which means you got to pay more attention, of course, too, with the Lee one. When you automatically come back, it cycles it, so you can't get a double charge, whereas this one here, if you're not careful and forget to spin it ahead. I guess you could do more than one thing. You could try and seat another primer in there, or you could double charge it, whatever. So anyway, we'll see once I get going with this. It seems to be a little more sturdily made than the Lee one, but it is that much more expensive too. Anyways guys, happy reloading, and once I get some dies set up in this and going, maybe I'll do another video.